And I might have touched on this before, but I'm going to finish up this episode with this. And that is, what should the true function of the estate be? What should be the true function of the estate? And I'm going to close it out with one, focus on the legacy. Not just, the musical accomplishments, his personal accomplishments, his world view. I would say definitely estate. I would say read his handwritten or his 50-page contribution to the Beautiful Ones. God, I wish he had more pages. I wish he had 200 pages or 1,000 pages written of that book. But I mean, just those 50 pages, even the introduction with Dan Piepenbrain. He was instrumental in really explaining what Prince's worldview for this book was going to be. His his mission statement, I should say, not worldview. But if you've read Celestine Prophecy, you know what I'm talking about. But just reread that and bullet point. At least starting off 3 things that you take away from that, and carry those things forward with his legacy. Like I said, it's cool with with the music, but not only the box sets, but what can that music, like a certain album or some certain tracks, what can those tracks do that you can utilize to better society with, to better mankind? Can you insert those tracks in a film or a documentary or a commercial or something, or the proceeds from a box set, donate those to whatever causes were important to him still, and carry those forward. So yes, focus on the legacy. 2, focus on quality product. Okay, so I don't know, the players you have in place, as far as like archivists. Prince was somebody that went through so many different engineers, different band members. He went through so many changes in his career that it's unfortunate. I mean, like I said, I don't know who the players are, but with Hendrix, you still have that he's still walking the planet. You have Eddie Kramer still with us. You have John McDermott still with us. Jimi Hendrix was smart to put those people in charge of the vault. And I mean, to have that consistency, because Eddie Kramer was there practically from day 1 almost, or maybe even day 2 or 3, I think. But at least the very beginning, at least during the inception of the first Hendrix album, all the way to the last recorded studio track at Electric Ladyland. It's amazing to have that, because you have consistency within the product. And granted, for the most part, I enjoy most of the releases. I don't have every release, but I've got enough of them. But to have that consistency throughout. So I hope that they have somebody, what's the guy, is it Scotty Baldwin? I would say have somebody like that on the team, for consistency of the quality of product. Definite thoughts put into the box sets, and not just the box sets, but reissues, remasters, compilations, live material, curating what goes only to streaming. Maybe focus on like a Neil Young type website where, hey, $25, $35 a year, you will have access to every recording, whether it's official releases, vault tracks, live recordings that have yet to be released, or live recordings that may not, either due to recording quality or popularity or whatever, that that definitely the fan base will support when the mainstream won't. but focus on quality product. 3, you can't say stop the lawsuits necessarily, but I would say be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Say be more selective, you know, be more selective with those things. Like I said, we've got a lot of different associated artists, and then this is something that's different. I mean, James Brown had associated acts, but they've had at least, if nothing else, 3 volumes of CDs where they get their shine. Maybe not necessarily original albums. Maybe some of them didn't even have original albums, just singles. But I would love to see like a remaster of Lynn Collins albums from the James Brown camp. That type of thing. So in the Prince camp, we want to see some definite, maybe expanded editions. If not, if you don't have enough material for a box set, expanded editions of The Time, with Jill Jones and Madhouse, artists like that. But those things don't happen if you're going after those artists over, a name, or they're trying to live their best life. Purple Rain or being with Prince made those careers, and they're carrying on, celebrating that legacy. Like I got to see St. Paul and the Minneapolis All-Stars. Was on a podcast doing the live stream. Jesse Johnson, that those concerts. I mean, man, there's people carrying on the legacy, and and before I hear people, well, Prince, Prince was one of a kind. Prince was one of a kind, and he was kind enough to open the door for a lot of these artists. And Prince didn't pick, we kind of live with this sort of cliche, or is taking on this bigger myth with, the girlfriends and the lack of singing voices and all that stuff. But outside of that, you look at his bands, you look at The Time, you look at Eric Leeds, you look at Jill Jones, you look at, Vanity was probably, I would say, if you want to question voices and that type of thing, or even Apollonia, but they brought something within that we're still talking about them to this very day. There's people in the, we don't talk about Carmen Electra. Luckily she ended up on Baywatch or something. Luckily she was married to Dennis Rodman for 2 minutes, and that kept her name out there. But as Prince fans, we don't talk about her as much as we talk about, because there was something that even they brought to the table, Vanity brought to the table, that Apollonia brought to the table, that was significant, that had impact that it had impact on us Prince fans growing up. And it's like I said, it's different. You see Parliament Funkadelic, George Clinton. Sometimes there's a family, a band member or whatever that had some grief about, gripe about being paid, that type of thing. But at the end of the day, they still get celebrated. George ain't going after everybody and suing everybody for negative stuff. George is being George. Even he's fighting to get all of his stuff back. So stop the lawsuits, and then finally, ignore the negative comments. One of my first lessons doing a podcast is you have to be bold. Because haters are guaranteed. They are guaranteed. Like I said, I don't mind constructive criticism. I don't mind it. But when you resort to name calling, when you start, when it starts to get a little personal and that type of thing, then it's like, nah, that issue is with you. And while you focusing on that negativity, trust me, your haters and your competitors have now gotten 2 to 5 to 10 steps ahead of you. And they're living their best life. While you, I hated you talking about Purple Rain, or your podcast was 5 minutes too long in the introduction, and just stop it. Just quit it. Just, stop. You just ignore. You got to ignore that stuff. If somebody says something, it's YouTube, it's the internet. Everybody's got an opinion. They have a right to their opinion. It's just that, like I say, I focus on the positive. It's like those people aren't signing nobody's checks. If they are, I'm not getting one. So it don't matter. My job is to focus on how I can get some checks. That's what my job is to focus on how I do that. So a lot of times what 10 other people are doing is not my concern. Half of the celebrities that are celebrities are not my concern. That is not my concern. It's my concern is the music that I enjoy, that I like to talk about, and doing things that would help me get to go to, live my best life. So there you go. Ignore the next. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Also, Amari Music Talk is available on your favorite podcast platforms such as Apple or Spotify or Amazon Music. So be sure to check it out. Peace.